Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of great most done it rule well. And shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Kalab and I'm from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So I'm going to play a little video here that I was just watching on BBC News, talking about this what they call link-up culture, where over here in the UK you've had a series of events that have been orchestrated, where you've had a lot of young people, predominantly Jakes, turning up to a particular area and, you know, causing some kind of mayhem or chaos, and then scrambling like, you know, cockroaches when the police arrive. And, you know, it's always captured on film, and then they report about it in the news, and then they turn around and say, oh, what can we do to prevent this? Well, this article is trying to present this as something that's just happening organically. But I don't believe this is happening organically at all. I believe this is staged, because over here you've got the UK Labour government trying to enforce more restrictions on social media. You know, they're trying to put age limits to, you know, what young people can access on social media. Now you have to have age verification for a lot of websites, and it's not even just you know, adult content websites, like, you know, porn websites. There's all kinds of websites which, you know, you go to them, it might be something totally safe, but for some reason it's telling you these images are restricted. Like, for example, like video game content. You know, I like to play video games, so maybe it's a website like a Street Fighter wiki or something. You're going on there looking at information about the game, and you can't view certain images in your area. Now, what's that got to do with, you know, pornography affecting children or whatever like that? It's just certain sites are having more restrictions placed on them, which has nothing to do with that whole claim that, oh, we need to protect children from you know, X-rated material and stuff like that. Really, what the thing is, what the government is trying to do is to stop young people from accessing alternative media. That's really what the problem is because the government narrative is losing to the truth. So therefore, in order to try and gain control of a situation that they're losing control of, they're trying to put forward all these agendas and these proposals that, oh yeah, we need to protect young people from this, we need to protect young people from that, we need to restrict access to internet and social media and blah 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 blah, age restrict this and that. It's all being orchestrated by Esau. And I say that to say this, because all of these link up things where they're getting all these young people to, you know, turn up to a particular shop at a certain time and on a certain day and just, you know, cause chaos. This is part of that agenda. But they're trying to present it as if this is some organic thing that's just, oh, kids are just, you know, communicating via, you know, social media, deciding to turn up to certain places and just cause trouble. No, man, this is all set up. This is all staged, right? So let's play a bit of this article and see what it says.
Hundreds of teenagers suddenly show up on Clapham High Street. Posts on social media had urged them to link up. But what actually happened here? This isn't just a story about those 2 days in Clapham. We'll look at what draws young people to link-ups across London and ask, how can they be prevented from getting out of hand?
I'd say it should be a wake-up call, because when young people don't have enough safe or sort of, you know, structured places to go to, I believe that sort of energy can and will spill out onto the streets.
Over 2 days in March 2026, police were called to reports of antisocial behaviour.
They were all in M&S and Sainsbury's, and I saw a bunch of them like shouting at people in shops. There was like a bunch of police officers everywhere as well. It was really scary.
We locked the door, so we kind of just shut ourselves in and didn't leave.
We was throwing stuff inside, running, like it was just quick. In 3 minutes we closed everything.
Now, some of the headlines at the time called it a riot, but police said there was no widespread looting or criminal damage. However, they said 5 people, including 4 police officers, were assaulted and 6 teenage girls arrested. The youngest of them just 13.
The police have explained it was through social media posts, encouraging people to link up. It's also something we've seen increasingly over school holidays.
Yeah, so a link up is basically when, like, you know, like a bunch of kids basically just like come together, you know, like play music, have fun, talk, you know.
Teenagers Prince, Henry and Adnan are ambassadors for the Hackney social justice group Voyage. They say for most young people, there's no intention to cause trouble.
The only thing they come in for is fun. They don't think, oh, what if this happens, what if that happens? Only thing they care about is there's going to be a link up with my age group. I want to be there so I don't miss out.
Like, it's this common misconception that young people, they always just want to be inside, like glued to their phones or whatever. But as it turns out, we actually do like that human connection.
It's not just Clapham where this has happened. This was Oxford Circus in 2023 after social media videos urged people to turn up and cause disorder. 9 arrests were made.
What I saw in Clapham, I thought, it was quite chaotic. I think, it was very upsetting. And I believe that also, it's quite unacceptable.
Young people feel the need to jump onto trends. They might see that their friends are going to these mass gatherings. They might join them. And I feel like overall, young people just don't feel like they belong. So they feel the need to engage in this type of behaviour.
Teenagers Tyra and Jason are part of a panel of young people who advise the Mayor's Violence Reduction Unit.
A couple of years ago, there was a mass gathering in Southend where people were meeting up, doing dangerous activities. And I feel like, especially because it will be the school holidays, children are not in school, young people will be meeting up.
It's a difficult situation to believe that you can police your way out of. We really need to look at making sure that young people don't come to these gatherings in the first place.
But do young people have alternative safe spaces to physically meet up? Just a few days after those scenes here in Clapham, London's mayor announced that he'll fund at least one late-night youth club for every borough. But it comes after years of cuts to youth services.
We used to have a youth club right next to our school. So as soon as we finished school, all the kids anywhere to go to, we had youth workers. Even the police would sometimes come by, have fun, you know what I mean? But right now, that place got closed. A lot of youth places are getting closed right now.
In London, it's really interesting that there's quite a disparity between different boroughs. So some boroughs really are trying to reinvest in youth work. But that's difficult because some of the youth clubs have been sold off. And also the youth workers have been made redundant, lost their jobs. Many of them have moved on to other things.
Dr. Tanya de Saint Croix says there are other issues too that have disrupted the way young people experience social interactions, including the cost of living crisis and the COVID pandemic.
A 16-year-old now was 10 when the lockdowns were happening, so they weren't able to go to school, most of them. Their playgrounds were locked up. Do you remember the playgrounds were literally padlocked? So they really didn't have that kind of positive experience, or it was interrupted, of being out in their community.
Or even just the small things of going to your friend's house, you couldn't do that. So I've seen where the social interaction was almost craved for by young people. So then you could come out with outbursts of everyone meeting or huddling up or having these type of link-ups.
The Met Police said that it would take a zero-tolerance approach to what happens here in Clapham, sending in extra officers, but also telling parents to take more responsibility, and also social media platforms for any content that's shared that promotes or incites disorder.
The question that I have is for...
See, they're trying to blame it on social media and these platforms because they want people to not have access to alternative news, information or media sources. That's what it really boils down to. So this whole thing to me smells like a dirty rat of a setup, you know, that a lot of these young people are basically following. Like, you could even, dare I say, sheep to the slaughter, lambs to the slaughter, following after folly. Now, there's some scriptures on this. This is a scripture from Proverbs. This is Proverbs 22 in verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Yeah, like when I was growing up, you know, my parents didn't need to tell me twice that you don't go out on the street and cause no foolishness. You know, it's just kind of, you knew that when you leave the house, you had to conduct yourself in a certain way. You don't be getting into no bullshit where you've got police turning up and knocking your parents' door for them to find out you've been doing some fuckery on the streets. You know, it's just kind of, that's just how I grew up, you know. But obviously not everybody has that. A lot of these young Jakes growing up in single parent homes where the mother has no control over her child. And when anybody tries to tell the mother that the son's doing some madness, she don't want to hear it because she's in her feelings and in her emotions. And in her head, she still sees her little boy as a little toddler, a little baby, not imagining that a wicked spirit is festered in the heart of her child. And now he's a teenager, he's acting out on it. Yeah, he might come home and say, I love you, mum. But when he goes out, he's being a fucking tyrant in the streets, you know, mugging people, shaking other children down at school for their lunch money, all kind of folly. You know, selling drugs at school and all this kind of shit. But no, that's my little baby boy. He'd never do anything like that. They're lying about him. They're making things up. A lot of women are like that because they're in their fucking emotions. That's why you need a man in the house to establish order and discipline, you know, and hold that standard. You know, a lot of young Jake, they're growing up in households with no standards of morality. So therefore, when they go out into the world, they're very immoral people. And they've got no patience, no tolerance, threshold for tolerance. They can't take an insult. You know, you look at them the wrong way, they're ready to pull out a knife and bore you up. It's fucking madness. But hey, these are the demons. These are the fucking gremlins that Esau has created. You know, if you watch that film Gremlins from the 80s, I think it was 1984, Gremlins came out. If you really analyze that film, maybe I'll do a lesson on it. If you really look at it, that's basically showing you Israelites, your nature. Because if you remember the premise of the film is that you've got the little mogwai, which is the good, it's metaphor for the good Jake, the one that's following the commandments. And in the movie, you've got these rules like you don't feed the mogwai after midnight, you don't get the mogwai wet. You know, these basic rules. That's basically a stand-in for the commandments. And when the commandments are violated or broken, what happens is a beautiful, cute little mogwai that looked like it would be harmless turns into a deadly gremlin, which, you know, causes all kind of chaos, and they multiply, and they're just going around doing what these Jake are doing fucking in this news article. They're acting like the Jake in this news article, having link-ups and tearing the whole city apart and just causing all kind of chaos. You fucking gremlins, man. That's what a lot of you Jake who follow after this folly are. You're just fucking gremlins. You're just in the way. And eventually you're going to be taken out of the way. But for now, Esau's using you to push his agendas to get more locks and controls on social media and what you're able to share on social media, forcing you to have more and more age verification so they know exactly who's posting what, who's saying this, who's saying that. And if you're going against the government sanctioned narrative, guess what? You're going to have police turning up at your door ready to arrest your ass. You know, that's the kind of society that Esau wants to create. And that's why he pushes these kind of agendas and narratives to try and make it look like this is a whole organic thing that's just growing out of young people being restless. But in reality, it's all about Esau putting forth his agenda and getting the public to swallow it and thinking that, oh, we need more protections and restrictions and more governmental control. Let's get a precept on that. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. That's a good one. Yeah, there we go. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Read that again. See, the rest of the world is ignorant to Satan and his devices, but we that are of the hopeful elect, we should be wise to the game by now. 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11 again, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So yeah, this is part of an ongoing narrative by Esau to try and gain more control over the internet and social media. This is just another prong of a multi-pronged attack on Esau, masquerading as, care for the youth, care for the children. Esau don't give a fuck about the youth, man. Esau's the one who's promoted knife crime here in London and let it go off the charts. Esau's the one who's promoted all the folly and foolishness to your children to get them destroyed, and then he'll put a little face on the newspaper. Oh, it's so sad that this 15-year-old boy was stabbed, or this 15-year-old school was stabbed on a bus. Oh, how tragic. Yeah, and Esau's the one who's created the circumstances where those types of things will happen more prevalently, especially to you young Jakes, man. So yeah, it's time to take your heads out of the sand and be wise to the game that's being played. And at the end of the day, otherwise you're just going to be another pawn on the chessboard that Esau's moving. So that's all I've got to say on that, man. I'll close out there with that. I want to give all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well. And shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel. And the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.